Hi everyone, welcome back. On Monday I went to the O2 Stadium to see Jordan Peterson debating Sam Harris being moderated by Douglas Murray. It was a really good event, really interesting. Although we did have to wait a long time to get in, it was worth it, I think. The debate was on the topic of religion and its worth in society, in modern society in particular. Sam Harris, as you may know, is an atheist and a proponent of the belief that religion is a blight on the world and is a force for evil. He's also a neuroscientist and has a very interesting podcast. I think he's a smart guy. Jordan Peterson, of course, was arguing in favour of religion, and he, if you've watched his lectures on the Bible or any of his lectures, you'll know that he strongly believes in the power of stories, and in particular religious stories and religious texts. And although he acknowledged the damage that has been done by religious behaviour, he was still arguing that atheist behaviour is just as evil. Of course, the argument went much deeper than that. They talked for an hour and a quarter before pausing to ask the audience whether they should continue for another 45 minutes or to go to Q&A, question and answer session for 45 minutes. And the audience, probably 2/3 of the audience, applauded to continue the conversation, which I was in that 2/3. I was really enjoying it. I wanted to see them get deeper. It's not very often that you get to see a really long form debate between two people who are taking each other seriously and really paying attention to what each other is saying and trying to learn from it. So it was really enjoyable to watch. Rather than talking about the debate itself, I'd like to assess one tiny part of something that Jordan Peterson said, or rather something that Sam Harris said that Peterson replied to, that got me thinking after the debate, after watching it. Sam Harris accused Jordan Peterson of holding this idea that religion is good for stupid people, or that smart people can get along being secular, but stupid people need religion to help guide them in life. And Jordan Peterson said that he actually does believe that, to which everyone sort of laughed and was a bit aghast, because it's a rather, it was a surprising thing for him to say, but he followed it up by saying that everyone is stupid, himself included, and that religion does help stupid people, which is anyone being stupid at any given time. And I was thinking about the way that society and people on the internet in particular view stupid people, as they call them, or people they consider to be stupid. Certainly on the internet it's easy to find stupid people, but as I said in my video about the Dunning-Kruger effect, everybody is uninformed about some things. Nobody can be fully informed about every single subject. There are gaps in everyone's knowledge because nobody is omniscient, and although some people do have a wider body of knowledge and a higher intelligence than others, there's always going to be gaps in our understandings. But more than that, I think it's important sometimes to remember that half of all people have an IQ of less than 100. Whether you call that stupid or not is context dependent, I think. But I was thinking about what I see people saying about Jordan Peterson a lot in articles and just on social media, that he's the dumb person, the smart person, or he's the stupid person's idea of what an intellectual should sound like. It seems pretty obvious to me that that's just an Emperor's New Clothes kind of trick to make people ashamed to call themselves a fan of Jordan Peterson, because if only stupid people like Jordan Peterson and you say, well, I like Jordan Peterson, then you've just confessed to being stupid in this person's point of view. So that's the surface layer of what they're saying, but I think to a certain degree they are actually correct. People who say that Jordan Peterson is an intellectual for stupid people, I think that actually is true to some extent. He's much easier to understand than, say, Carl Jung, the writings of Carl Jung or Sigmund Freud, or the people that he cites a lot. Not everyone can access those, myself included. I can't read Nietzsche. I've tried. It's too hard for me. And although I wouldn't call myself a stupid person, because of course nobody calls himself a stupid person. That is, for me, one of the appeals of Jordan Peterson, is that he takes this body of literature and psychology and all of this knowledge and makes it accessible for people who wouldn't normally be able to consume that information and take it and fully understand it. He gives very profound advice in ways that is easy to understand. Things like, clean up your room, don't tell lies, pay attention to what you're saying, and try to notice when you say something you don't believe. These are the things that I associate most strongly with Jordan Peterson, is these sort of folksy wisdom advice that is also backed up by a lot of this scientific background. The world is full of stupid people, and that's just a fact based on the fact that stupid is a relative term and intelligence is always relative. There are always going to be a class of people who are less intelligent and less well informed than the rest of society, or the top half or the top 10%. And don't they deserve some meaning in their lives? That they deserve to get some to understand psychology, to understand history and philosophy in a way that is easy for them to actually access. To say that something is for stupid people is sort of a compliment, I think. I mean, I talked about this in my video about Candace Owens. If you can translate very complex ideas into a digestible form that people can understand and that people resonate with, that is actually a very valuable skill. But to come back to those people who say that Jordan Peterson is a stupid person, smart person, I think it's one of those cases where where it says a lot more about the person saying it than it does about the person they're saying it about, Jordan Peterson. It always comes across as incredibly snobby to me, as it does whenever I hear someone saying that this group is stupid or X group is just idiots. So the world's a lot more complicated than that, and people can be wrong for a lot of reasons, quite aside from their intelligence. I've noticed a lot online that people are obsessed with intelligence and often attack people for being stupid or irrational or emotional, and I think, although I was very much sympathetic to that point of view, these days I've been starting to question that. Although, of course, all things being equal, it's better to be intelligent than not intelligent. I think that the intelligence as a virtue is somewhat overrated. You can have incredibly virtuous people who are not very intelligent. I think you have huge emotional courage, and you can possess wisdom without being an intellectual, without having read lots of books, and without having a high IQ. The fact that we attack people for being stupid when they disagree with us, I think, is just, it's not helpful. It's not helpful to discussions, and it's just putting up walls between you and another person, or your group and another group. And obviously I'm not just talking about the left calling the right stupid, or people who hate Jordan Peterson talking about Jordan Peterson fans. I'm talking about everyone. I see everyone doing it. I see people doing it in my comment section. Like I said about the Trump protests, a lot of people in my comment section were calling the people who were protesting Trump stupid because they weren't particularly articulate, or the answers that they gave to my questions, they weren't rehearsed. They didn't ask me to interview them. I was just there on the street with my microphone, and I asked them a question, and they were, somewhat taken aback. And maybe their answers could have been better if they'd had some time to prepare. They might have said something more intelligent. As I said before, I don't think they're stupid people, and I know I've gone off track now, and this is not what the video's about. What do you think? Is calling other people stupid sometimes helpful? Is there a certain group who you can objectively say are stupider than other people, flat earthers or Scientologists? If you were at the O2 Stadium watching Sam Harris, Jordan Peterson and Douglas Murray, let me know what you thought of it, or if you saw them in Dublin or somewhere else, how was the debate for you? I'm really looking forward to when the video of that is released and I can experience the full all the episodes of the saga. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you again soon.
My mother used to say to me, she'd say, in this world, Elwood, you must be, she always called me Elwood. In this world, Elwood, you must be oh so smart or oh so pleasant. Well, for years I was smart. I recommend pleasant. You may quote me.